Pounders, week 18 with Nick. Going to give us some insight on his favorite plays, player incentives, team incentives with playoff dreams and different seeding. Nick, welcome to the live stream, my man.
What's up, big dog? It's been a while. How you doing?
Good. Been just trying to rip these drafts. And now that the week 17 sweat is over, I think everyone's sort of taking a breather. And how was your week 17 sweat?
So I had three teams that were in the puppy three. Didn't really go my way, but that's just how it goes. Anybody that knows best ball and
Oh, yeah.
especially finals, it's you gotta be so right on a lot of stuff. And yeah, I mean I made a little bit of money, so I can't complain. But I didn't make $3 million like somebody else did, and so my life is hasn't changed dramatically.
Dude,
It's
it's
really just
tough. It's tough to be on Twitter and everyone's like posting 20, 50, 75, 120,
yeah,
150. Um, but it's funny. This year I made one final and I did way more teams than the year before. Year before I made 5 finals, but I made more money this year off that one final. So like process results. Um, if you're doing the right thing, you'll sort of know by your exposure, or not your exposures, but your advance rates,
yeah.
and you know if you have to change stuff around or not.
I mean, we're
But
all just itching again for 2024 to do this, whole crazy cycle over again. Kind of where I'm at least. But it was
oh
good to
yeah,
see some familiar faces, do well and make some profit.
yeah,
Hopefully, I mean, 2024 is more lucky for other people like myself and you, and so will continue.
we had a ton of winners in the Discord. Shout out to Bry, took down one of the contests for 50 G's. I think it was the Chow, which is the $50 entry. I love that contest. I'm gonna be doing a ton of those next year
And
when
that's
we get to.
awesome. I mean, that's enough money to reinvest into 2024 and have some left over and probably a few years if you're smart with how
Definitely.
you budget and what contests you want to play. But
Definitely
awesome.
should save some for future years too. But I know some sickos. But, guys, if you're just jumping in here, smash a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I'll be dropping Nick's info. Link will be in the description. You can follow him on the Twitter machine, and you can find him on the Discord. Link also in the description. Let's get into it. Week 18, always a disgusting one. People really aren't willing to put in the work. And I'm not saying everybody, but a large majority just don't. And then they end up drafting off ADP. What do you think about this first round here? Just between teams that are playing for a playoff seeding spot or playing for their playoff lives?
So there's
If you have a mind
definitely
right too.
players that I think you should be drafting in the first round, and then there's definitely players that I think you should just be totally avoiding. Obviously Lamb is definitely the true 101.
Facts.
St. Brown and Jefferson to me are a toss up, but I go Jefferson at the moment only because of the uncertainty of the Lions game plan. I mean, we know that Dan Campbell has discussed playing his starters.
Mhm.
Um, and there is a chance for them to move up to the 2 seed, but Cowboys and Eagles have to lose their game respectively. They do play after the Lions, so that does leave hypotheticals open. Like if you don't play your starters and then they somehow lose their games, like I'm sure Dan Campbell, as crazy as he is, would be kicking himself for
Oh,
leaving the
yeah.
starters off the
Oh,
field.
yeah.
But again, I mean, if he's like everybody else and he's thinking, what are the chances the Cowboys and Eagles both lose? So in that sense, it would make sense to rest your players. It really won't matter too much to play them. And then for the Viking side of it, we know
Mhm.
that they can sneak in with some luck as well, but they
Yeah.
have to win. Lions don't have to do anything. They're good.
Yeah.
So for me, Jefferson, I think plays, and so I'd rather just take the player that's going to be guaranteed probably to play over, someone I'm like unsure of. Still, I think you draft St. Brown.
Okay. Are you worried about quarterback play at all with, Minnesota and JJ?
No, I mean yes, but at the same time, it's Justin Jefferson, um, and I think if he has like one of those like Devonte Adam like games where he just gets 21 targets.
Mhm,
You don't necessarily need good quarterback play if he's getting all the volume and target share. But I
mhm.
wouldn't definitely be drafting or stacking him with Mullins. Mullins is confirmed to start now, so I don't want Mullins. I'd rather go if you're gonna go Jefferson, maybe you try and pick up Fields or Dak and go that route and try and get like a upside quarterback that you could maybe even do naked or
Yeah.
bring in like Komet or Ferguson. But
Okay. So JJ at 2, then Amon-Ra for you?
yes. White is pretty close. So I've been mixing in White around the 2-3 range. So I have
Mhm.
White over St.
I
Brown,
agree.
but
I I completely agree. I might even have White over Justin Jefferson personally.
and I
Um,
think that's fair. You can definitely do that.
Now, what are you doing with Kyron? That's probably
Just take him off your board. I mean,
that's the exact same way I feel. Nah.
I don't really see any reason to be picking him. Stafford's already been out, so you definitely know McVay's leaning towards his starters not playing.
Mhm,
I think outside Puka because he has his incentive to break a record.
mhm.
Um, and then I don't even think Puka plays a full game once he does. Like once he passes that milestone, he probably gets pulled because what's the point of
I'm
keeping him in?
I'm mixing in Puka after I really get my guys, and he falls to, like, the 5th, 6th round. It's the only
Yeah,
time I've clicked Puka. Um,
I just
Again,
be
we want
nervous with Puka because if he doesn't catch a touchdown and then has the minimum amount of yards he needs, which I think is only like what 27. It's
right,
very
for
low.
player incentive.
Like well, it's a record. He's
Yeah,
going for I think the
rookie.
NFL rookie record for receiving yards. So
Yeah.
once he breaks the amount of yards he needs, I mean, I think they would take him out. So you're looking at like he needs in my opinion, needs a touchdown, and maybe your upside is like a really long pass, and then he gets the touchdown in
It's
60
it's
plus
thin.
yards.
It's super thin. It's
Yeah,
super
I mean, at
thin.
that point, why not just go after other guys like Ridley, who's going to be in the full game, and you don't have to worry about that headache.
We completely agree on the Ridley play this week. He would be dragged over 10 spots for me. He's probably going right in front of Olave, right behind Olave, like this range right here with DK,
Yeah,
personally.
absolutely.
Um, Hurts, AJ Brown. We'll just do a couple more just to show the peeps.
So I think with the Eagles, being on the 1-2 turn, that's one of
Mhm.
those things where you can take Hurts and AJ Brown, just hope that the
Yep.
Eagles are going to play their starters, but you could also wait and just find out and see if the Eagles are going to give you any like news about if they're
Mhm.
actually going to play starters this game or not. Because I really don't think their ADP is going to move like that significant for you
Right.
to miss out on that. So you could always just pivot and go like Evans, DJ Moore, or Evans, Dak, DJ Moore, Fields, and just get
Mhm.
like more
Mhm.
certainty.
Yeah. I'm
But I
I'm cool
don't
with
mind
that.
if people want to take a risk, I suppose, on Hurts and AJ Brown.
I think maybe something interesting that you might be able to do from excuse me, from that 2 spot would be able to get, like, Mike Evans at 2 and then double tap on Fields, DJ Moore on the way back around. It's not
Yeah,
gonna fall every time, but, that could be an interesting spot where you're getting 3 players in the same range that you otherwise wouldn't be able to unless, like, they fall, and these aren't players that are falling because they're either playing for something like Tampa Bay's playing for their playoff rights and Chicago's playing for, their job for next season, especially
right.
Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Um, Teams like that where they don't have anything to play for but, like, to prove to the team, to the
yeah,
coaching, like, that's important. That's like Denver last year playing that full game against the Chargers. There's no reason to sit them. So that does become an interesting situation for Chicago. What are you doing with the Chicago pieces? Similar
yeah,
thoughts or
yeah. No, I'm on the same page. I mean, I think they're gonna play, so I think it's fine to just take Fields and DJ Moore, or um, you know, I'm perfectly fine with taking those guys. I feel comfortable with them.
rivalry game? Like I think they're tired of being shat on by Green Bay, and now they have a chance to make
Spoil
sure
their
they don't
season.
make the playoffs,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly.
it's It's a good situation in my mind, at least, the Chicago side of things.
Yeah.
But, if you guys aren't already in the Discord, we have just different, like, here's a website, nice resource from ETR that's linked. And you can find this in the Battle Royale section. So week 18 incentives, all that sort of thing, the different matchups. But let's
Just
jump
wanted to
into oh,
make
yeah,
a
go
quick
ahead.
point, right, with the Bears and Packers. I mean, I wanted to check. I know they played earlier this year. Packers won 38-20.
It was
DJ Moore only actually had 2 catches for 25 yards. So
mhm,
I'm assuming he's getting shadowed by Alexander in that
yeah.
situation. And I think Alexander is healthy, right? I'm not like always looking at. I haven't checked injury report for
Well,
defenses yet, but
I don't know if Green Bay is a team that really moves their guys. Most teams just stay on, the one side of the defensive field. So I don't know if Green Bay
But
does
I'm saying
that,
that
but
that probably played into why he had a down game. Fields had 1 touchdown, 1 interception for 216 yards, but he also
mhm,
had 9 carries for 59 yards. So I'm sure his day was kind of salvaged in that sense.
mhm,
But I think that is something you have to consider in terms of like cornerback matchups. I mean, that might not be ideal, but
yeah.
there's not a lot of options on this slate to really try and you know figure
Oh,
out what's more optimal, right? Because DJ Moore is just at another level than a lot of the receivers that we're able to get to on the slate.
without a doubt. And again, access to be just playing for something and kind of guaranteeing a full game is in itself important. There will be better players drafted later just because of their situation it's not as sexy, right? They're not going to be out there potentially the full game.
Right?
And I think there's a lot of trap picks like that. But do you
Oh
want
yeah.
to jump in this draft with us? You want to try to get in?
I'll be your co-pilot,
Okay, let's go.
unless of course it takes a while to fill. Then I'll jump in.
Look at this. 6 of 6 was meant to be. And we get the 1 spot?
Let's go.
About time though. I've been running bad with the 1 spot, and it kind of feels like a 1 spot type week.
I think it is too, and like I've done 60 drafts and I've gotten I think five first first round first overalls. So it's been tough.
Now, I just got a notification from Underdog. Alvin Kamara doesn't practice Wednesday.
Okay. I
Not
mean,
gonna
it
be mixing
doesn't really do anything for me because I don't love Jamal Williams,
okay.
and he's playing Atlanta, and they're pretty stout. I just don't like that matchup for either of those guys, and I'd rather be on the Kamara than the Jamal side.
Oh, without a doubt, but if you can get rid of one of the other, like, running backs, and now you're just getting all volume, like, if you guarantee me Jamal Williams gets 20 touches this week,
Yeah,
and you basically will,
but
especially, like
I could give you another guy who's gonna probably get 20 touches as well and has a friendly matchup. So I'd rather be on that
mhm.
side of it, in my opinion.
Oh,
And
without a
it's a guy
doubt,
that
without a
doesn't
doubt.
get drafted, like, hardly goes drafted. I mean, I'm, like, the only one I see picking him up, so, I mean, maybe we'll do it this draft, but
I love it. But players like that, and especially, like, game script, when you think about how Atlanta versus New Orleans should go, the run should be available at all times. Atlanta's not out here, you know, slinging the rock, crushing teams.
well, I'm a little worried because, Jamal made his case last year for being a goal line back, so
Mhm.
that's great if he's the only running back. He's obviously gonna be the goal line back regardless,
Yep.
but now we're seeing this, um, resurgence of Juwan Johnson, and he's now getting all these, touchdowns, in the red zone, so, like, I feel like wow, that's huge. I'm very big on your screen. Um, so
I wanna give you the spotlight, man.
I'm a little nervous for that reason that Johnson will vulture away his opportunities. Um, that's really
Wild,
my really only
wild,
my gut take on that.
wild. We're officially afraid of Juwan Johnson. God damn, man. Imagine,
and he was your guy.
imagine,
He was your guy this offseason.
dude. No, if Jimmy Graham doesn't go to the Saints,
Maybe.
we, maybe he has a better year. He
Yeah.
did run into injury BS
But
early in
he's
the
in a good
season, so
spot this slate. I mean, look, there's not a lot of tight ends.
yeah,
People are constantly making the wrong choices this week. I mean, I see like
dude.
guys are grabbing Njoku. They're saying Browns aren't starting. The people are grabbing Kelsey. We know the Chiefs aren't starting. Um, and they're leaving guys like Johnson on the board who
And Ferguson, bro.
and
How's
Ferguson.
Ferguson go this late?
Yeah, all these tight ends should be bumped above
Dude,
all these guys that are not playing.
we get gifted Mike Evans here, and we can go
So yeah, it's
with
really tough
whoever
because
your
I
favorite
mean
is.
I would just click on Evans and DJ Moore here, and then best case scenario, people don't want Fields without DJ Moore. But
Ooh, that's gonna be a tough sell.
were you
But
thinking like Brees Hall or somebody else?
I'm completely fine with going 3 wide receiver start here.
Yeah.
Um, if you're going to do it, it'll be 3 receivers by Olave plus Ridley right here, in my
hmm
opinion. It's really tough to do it when you're scrolling down at wide receiver.
Yeah, and
Let's try this.
there's a lot of running backs
Oh,
that have
baby.
good value
Yeah. Yeah.
when it comes back to you, right, in the fourth and fifth round. I mean, you're staring at a lot of viable running backs.
Brees Hall is just
Um,
getting crazy volume in the passing game right now too.
yeah, so I was gonna mention, right? There's 9 teams that really aren't playing for anything this week.
Mhm.
But it seems like only 3 of those 9 teams people are willing to target for whatever reason. That
Yep.
being the Bears, Jets, and Raiders. Because you're obviously seeing DJ Moore Fields, a little bit of Herbert. You're seeing the Raiders, obviously Devontae Adams in there. Um, a little bit of Myers, maybe. He still got 10 targets last week, so I think
Yeah.
he's viable. And then the Jets, we have Brees Hall. But a lot of these other teams, I mean, not a lot of people are really going after, like between um, the Titans, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Bengals. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't see a lot of sharp people on them.
Yeah, and those are the games that you might wanna just do a little game stack too if you think that game's gonna go, either longer or because they have nothing to play for.
hmm
If they're just trying to it could be just the coach wanna finish the season strong. But Cincy, I do worry about. For me, like Chase, what do they have to play for this year, right? They have nothing really to prove. Their starting quarterback's out. They really should be sort of planning for next year when Joe Burrow is back, in my opinion. And then
Yeah,
if they get an injury,
right.
that'd be
I think you could say
that'd
that
be
about a lot of these
detrimental.
players, though. Like, dude, if Brees Hall gets hurt, like the Jets look
I agree.
even more dumb. Like,
I
people
agree.
are already like they got their pitchforks out all year with this team. Now, if Brees Hall gets hurt, what do you think everybody in New York is going to be saying? Like, why are
Dumbest
we
coach
playing?
in the world.
Why are we playing Brees Hall in a meaningless game? He's been our best player all year.
What do you like here? We can go running back, tight end, I would assume.
Um, is Johnson still on the board?
Juwan?
Yep, I'd take him for sure as your first pick. And then if you want, I'll sell you on a running back who I like, who's
Let's
in
hear
a
it.
really good
Let's hear the
spot.
pitch. Let's hear the pitch.
I think
ETN's.
I think you need to put in Zamir White in the queue. I think
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
guy that he's playing for something this week. I think he gets 20 touches. He's playing the Broncos. They suck at the run. So
If you're gonna do that, wouldn't you just fire up Jacobs, who's not ruled out yet, and then if he
no, I
gets
don't think
ruled
he
out.
plays. I don't think he plays at all. I really don't. I'm like so
I
convicted
don't
on.
love it. I don't
I,
love it. I like
so
it for end of week. End of the week when we know more.
so here's my thing with Jacobs. To me, who a guy dealing with a quad injury
Yep.
who has no incentives for the Raiders in terms of
Mhm.
he's probably not going to be a Raider next year. I don't see why a guy like Josh Jacobs would even feel it's necessary for him to compete in this game. Dealing with an injury, and then the fact that he's not trying to win his job back with the Raiders. Um,
You
I
definitely
just
it's his last chance to prove that he still has a little in the tank, right?
Yeah, I don't think he needs to play this game to have a chance of another team signing him, but it's kind of just my gut feel.
So what
I
if he
think they're gonna
is,
roll Zamir White out.
let's say he is active, right?
Yeah.
Who would you rather, or you would rather none of them?
No,
Would you rather,
if he's active and it's sound, I mean, it's all what you read into, right? If the
right.
report is Josh Jacobs is good to go, I mean, I think Pierce is pretty transparent with his game
Mhm,
plan. I think he would basically, you'd know if Josh Jacobs is planning on playing. Um,
mhm.
I just don't think he gets there. I think Zamir White is truly undervalued this week.
I love the
For
Zamir White pick. If
for 20
Jacobs is
touches.
out, I love the Zamir White pick, but I'm just
Yeah.
nervous to do it this early into the week on, was it Wednesday?
Yeah. Look, I mean, his ADP is not going to really change too much if Josh Jacobs is out. I mean,
Exactly.
he could go maybe fourth, fifth, maybe fifth round. I would say if people are going to be on him. So I mean,
Yeah.
you're really not missing like getting value there. But
Mhm. That's the
you know,
exact same way I see it. Yeah. You c so it just worries me a little bit to be doing it on Wednesday, but seems like from the report, it's gonna be a game time decision. So, um, maybe mixing this in towards the end of the week, or if we do happen to get an update,
yeah,
Zamir's definitely in play. And on the wide receiver side of things, like Jaden Reed,
yep, another guy.
who goes sorta undrafted, and it looks like he was seen at practice. I don't
That's
know if he
good.
was practicing.
Yeah, probably not. I
He
would
was seen there. That's great. Like, what the uh, go Baker here with Mike Evans.
Baker or Carr.
Let's bring in my first Baker squad here.
There you go.
Only done 9 so far. Haven't been big volume guy this whole year for whatever reason.
Yeah, and this is your week.
I know.
You're the
I'll get
defending
to,
champ of week 18. So this contest you need to be maxing.
we got nothing to prove. I got Lamb at the 2 spot earlier today, I will say. Was gifted that. I
Nice.
don't expect that to happen again this whole week, though. Um, yeah, it's interesting, like, Jaden Reed, we can sorta comfortably mix in Jaden Reed, especially with our Chicago stacks, and if he doesn't play, and maybe you get Christian Watson who practiced today for a pick swap if you're feeling spicy, or you can go Romeo Dobbs. Um, but Green Bay has a few
How are you
options.
feeling about Reed if Watson hypothetically is active and plays?
Mm, if how am I feeling about Watson?
No, Reed.
Reed, if
Mhm.
Watson plays?
Yeah, if he's good to go and active this
I'm fine
week.
with it. I'm
Okay.
fine. I think Watson actually spreads the field.
Right.
So, like, Watson's gonna get there on, like, what you would think would be, like, 4 catches, 3 to 4 catches.
Hmm.
So it's not like he's taking up a ton of volume. I still think Jayden Reed would end up being, like, around the same amount of targets.
Got it.
Imagine Jayden Reed, 2nd pick. Alright, let's go with the rankings. JJ at 2. I'm not gonna probably have a ton of JJ. I'm more worried about the QB situation. I know it's still Justin Jefferson. Now that Hawk's out, it does become a little more condensed of an
Yeah,
offense.
for sure.
But, yeah, it's definitely it's an interesting one here with Justin Jefferson, Amon Ra. I'm gonna be super heavy on White, and
I
I
think
was
if you're playing as safe as possible, you just click Rashad White in that situation. You know the Tampa Bay, you know the Bucks are going to be playing Rashad White. There's nothing to worry about in that sense. You know Carolina is a terrible run defense, so he
mhm,
should be
all good
getting
things.
back. Last game had like a really bad low amount of carries, like 11 or something. Like he should
Mhm,
be getting back to the 20 range that he's been getting like the past like 5 games before that. I don't think you have to worry
yeah,
about that. But Jefferson could be the best ceiling play if things work out with targets and everything else.
I will say when I go Jefferson here, it does make me want to game stack this with like I think Gibbs instantly rises up for us.
Yeah, I would be taking like Metcalf or probably Metcalf here. This draft room seems pretty on point right now with picks. So
I don't love the Dak. Like Dak with anyone else but Lamb feels so incredibly thin. Like sure you can bring in Fergie.
there's
It
not a
just
lot of good
seems
quarterbacks on this slate. I mean, it comes down to that, in my opinion, for Dak.
like Aaron Jones easily can be risen up to this range. But I do think we have to go Gibbs here.
Okay.
We probably will get another one of these running backs coming back too. Probably not Kenneth Walker. Gets a little thin when you try to target all the touchdowns in one game.
Do you like maybe mixing in someone like Herbert to try and get a little different? Because we obviously know there's going to be a ton of Jefferson Metcalf teams. So you got to try and somehow, you know,
Yeah.
get out of the duping phase. But you reached on Gibbs, so that could just be enough in itself.
See what comes back to us. See what comes back to us. I like James Conner a lot this week too.
Yeah, for sure.
Is Ridley gone too? If Ridley's not gone, we can basically go one of these two. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with taking a team that's got to play for something, right?
Absolutely not. Which side do you like?
Preferably Ridley right now. But
Let's send it.
you could twist my arm, I guess. I just outside of last game for ETN, he's kind of been like wishy-washy, and it's I mean the volume and the usage is there for him, but the
Yep.
fantasy points haven't been. I
Kirk,
guess you could
there
say
should
the
be
same about Ridley too, but
yeah, for sure.
I'm a Ridley guy through and through.
Christian Kirk and Zay Jones both limited in practice today. So T-Law going this far down the board, huge mistake. Huge mistake.
Oh yeah, for
He
sure.
should definitely be mixed in more than he is, and we can sort of do that
I
right
think he
now
should
if you
be above
want.
like Kyler, if I'm being honest.
We can go Ingram, Jake Fergie. Do you have a preference here? Even Goddard's in play, but
Between Ingram and Fergie, no.
which one do you like
Well, I mean, if you really want to go onslaught, um
for Jacksonville?
for Jacksonville, I mean, you can go. I'd probably say get T. Loff. It's all right. You go Ingram first.
Let's do it.
I just hate putting like all your eggs in one basket, and then somebody wants to ruin your day and take T. Law for
And
no
you go
reason.
Nick Mullins. It's the
I mean,
savior.
I would say you go
The
Geno Smith
savior.
before him.
No,
I
you
would
gotta go
get
Mullins, man. Dude, so that's the thing. Like, if we're going JJ at 2, and this is sort of why I'm gonna be soft fading JJ's because I don't have trust in the QB. So if I'm not gonna be
okay.
mixing in the
So
QB,
here's my take on it. Right? What did what did Devonte Adams have last week?
that was
30
stupid.
points, right?
That was
Yeah, I get it.
stupid.
Get it. 21 targets. It's crazy, right? But I'm just saying, as an example, so he has almost 30. He has 30 points, right? What does O'Connell have? Can you pull up his stats, like his
Yeah.
fantasy numbers? It should be on the board. You just search. Like, what did he put for underdog?
Sorry, it's on something else. Um, let's see. Stidham. It's gotta be on here somewhere. Las Vegas. No, he was not being drafted. 20 points. He put up
Okay.
20 points. That's fine.
So you would think, though, if a player puts up 30 points as a receiver, your quarterback should probably have more than 20 points.
Yeah, unless one guy's getting all the catches. Yes, exactly.
So I
Agree with
think
that.
Jefferson could be that kind of play where you don't need Mullins for Jefferson to work. You
Mhm.
just need the guy who's going to get all the targets and possibly a touchdown or two.
Yeah. And even Kyler. Kyler's not a bad guy if, like, he can get in there, a rushing touchdown once here, he can kind of, spread the ball around a little bit, but I don't think we're getting Marquise Brown this week, right? He's out?
No, IR.
Yeah.
So I mean, Greg Dortch had a pretty solid game. He had like 7 catches,
Yeah.
7 receptions. Michael Wilson is being used a ton, but
Mhm.
it's really just Dortch and Wilson. I mean, Rondell Moore's there, and his usage has actually been the highest all year. But it seems like Dortch and Wilson are doing the best right now with Kyler
Yeah, for sure. McBride.
and McBride.
McBride. Yeah.
McBride is a standout there, but
He's like the
for
alpha.
receivers, yeah, yeah, he's a
But
very safe tight end.
these QBs all should be mixed in. You could argue Goff, Trevor Lawrence. You should be mixing in all of these guys.
Yeah, I agree. As long as I think some of these players are situational, like you need to have a piece for them. Like I wouldn't draft Carr naked.
Yeah, of
Definitely wouldn't
course. Of
draft
course.
Goff naked.
But
But
these game scripts, like you can target this New Orleans versus Atlanta game script. You can game stack this.
yeah,
I wouldn't go overly heavy on it, but you could definitely bring back that game. This one, ignoring the Tennessee side. Yeah. That's what I
oh,
would
I'm sorry.
completely ignore the Tennessee side, but I'm cool
Yes,
with
because
drafting Jags.
I'm not certain on their game plan.
Yeah.
Like is Spears going to get more of the work because
Probably.
he's the
It's
rookie,
been trending. It's
and
been trending that way this whole time.
Henry's basically, he's on the way out, right? They're not going to have Henry next year. So do they want to see what Spears can do for them? Um,
Yeah, for sure. I'll pull this up. It's been trending this way. If you go to footballguys.com, I love this website.
yeah,
Game logs. Scroll over here. Derrick Henry. We're seeing the usage already. Now, this game script, they were down 20-0. So
right. And Spears is the third down. He's the scat back. He gets the receiving work.
right.
But I think this could be a game where they want to see if he can even take some first and second down carries, which is where that's where Henry's bread and butter
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah.
For fantasy output. If he's not getting first and second down work, um,
You don't want
I
them.
think
You don't want them.
you don't want him exactly.
Definitely. There's some games that like Geno Smith, Arizona, like you can mix in McBride as a bring back for the Seattle stacks. You can mix in James Conner. You said Dortch. That's going to be a scroll, but it's not crazy, especially on this slate with wide receivers that a lot of them are going to miss.
Yeah.
Do you like going Jalen Hurts or AJ Brown first when you're trying to get these two?
I go with AJ Brown because I don't think anybody wants necessarily a naked Hurts. Unless you want to go Goddard. I mean, going
Mhm.
Goddard's fine too, but
Julio Jones. Just kidding. I have to throw it out there. 2 catches, 2
2 catches and 2
touchdowns.
touchdowns, right? It's I've been mixing him in a lot of best ball. Um,
That's
just
funny.
because of the uncertainty. I mean, with Devontae and that mild ankle sprain, I mean, if that thing goes or something happens,
Yeah.
I mean, I think Julio's locked in for that, 2,
Well,
3 job behind Goddard.
in Super Bowls too, like weird shit happens every year.
Yeah.
Someone gets there that you don't expect, and it's a 1 game slate, right? So can it happen once? Well, shit,
Yeah.
we already just saw it. So it's not
And he's
crazy to
free,
mix them
right?
in.
He's a
Yeah.
last round pick. So if you have to
Yep.
correlate an Eagle player with however you're designing your team, like I feel like he's a pretty good piece.
I'd rather Julio over Quez if everyone's going Quez Watkins,
100%. Well, I
you
don't
know?
think anybody's going Quez now. I don't think Eagle fans are going Quez.
Damn. Still getting snaps. Still getting snaps over there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
bad taste.
Julio. So I haven't pulled this up from week 17. 41%.
Yeah.
Quez dropped from 52. down to 1. Was there an injury there?
I'm not entirely sure. I think he sucks.
Oh, 100%. We know that. We know that. Even Olamide coming in from Atlanta, thought he would end up doing a little more for this team.
And Hurts and Julio, they have the Alabama connection. I mean, Julio played way before him, but they're Alabama boys through and through, right? I mean, Hurts probably looked up to Julio.
What do you think about Aaron Jones?
I'm totally fine with going Jones here. It's an easy click. I think Jones could be one of the highest owned running backs on this slate, though. That's my only concern. Like everybody's going to have a piece of Jones,
Yes.
so you have to
Yes.
really try and get a little different than the whole field.
Yeah. With the Wandell Robinson bring back.
100%.
I've already
I
done
would
it
prefer Slayton with
in
how
my
he's been
9
playing.
drafts. True.
Slayton's been rocking right now.
They both sort of got there last week. Like, this is
Slayton's
good.
been crushing it. So
Catching a deep ball every week. Yeah, that helps.
yeah,
Tyrod can sling. Tyrod
yeah,
can sling it. He's got a good deep ball. Do you like Kenneth Walker in this spot?
yeah, yeah.
Let's
Like I
send
said
it.
though, Jones and Walker are going to be like a highly owned combo though. That's just my
Mhm.
only problem with. I think if you want to do it, just so you have some exposure to that as well. But
High owned
uh,
is not necessarily bad if it's right, right?
yeah, yeah.
If
But
it's
I
right, you
think if
definitely
you
want a
build if you
piece.
if you build it out pretty chalky, you're going to be
Mhm.
looking at probably splitting first with this
Yeah.
kind of slate. Like I think there's so many Jones Walker teams, especially with Hurts and AJ Brown. Now your
Mhm.
receiver could be a lot different, which is where I feel like
Yep.
you can get an edge if you figure out the right receiver piece. But if like you go Ridley
Definitely.
here, for example, like I think that lineup's already been probably created.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah,
I still like it.
yeah. I
I
mean,
still like
it
it.
makes sense, man. I mean, for sure.
I'm cool with doing the bring back too with the Giants, Slayton or Wandale, mixing that up. I'm completely cool with that.
What about a little Darren Waller?
Waller's in play, but is he finally getting majority snaps? Because it's been like
I
around
know Bellinger's been a
50%.
little involved there, but
Yeah,
I think his snap count's been all right.
I think it's around 50. All
His
right, so
problem
it's
his
going
his
up.
problem is he's dropped a few key catches. So
Oh yeah, for
um,
touchdowns.
even for
Some of the
like first downs,
passes
like
weren't the best,
Tyrod Taylor
but
has looked his way and he's
mhm.
made some unfortunate drops. But
I like Fergie here, sort of get some leverage on the Dallas side of things.
okay, I think Kraft's also an interesting tight end to play, but maybe not so much now with Watson
Yeah, and we
possibly
and we
coming in.
have we have the Aaron Jones piece,
Yeah, so let's go Fergie.
but, Kraft definitely in play. Kraft definitely in play. I do like Fergie. You get a piece of Dallas, maybe some leverage off of the Lamb teams.
Could you ever go like maybe like Terry here and do a bring back with Fergie? Well, I mean Sam Howell is starting, so it's a little
Dude, he actually had an okay week last week with Sam
yeah,
Howell, but, like, this is like, give me Jacoby Brissett.
yeah, I
I'm cool
agree.
with game stacking our main game here.
Okay.
Let's bring in Slayton here. This is fun. But this is where I would mix in some Puka. This is where I think the risk is worth it, is in that last round. Other
Mhm.
than that, same thing with Rice. Like I think Rice gets rested.
I don't think Rice is playing.
Yeah.
I don't know
Tyler Lockett, JSN.
what chief receivers do you think are going to be out there? I mean, honestly, it should be every receiver that's ever dropped a ball, which should be like MVS. It should
Justin
be
Watson.
Justin Watson. Um, what's the
T
deal with what's his name
Tony's
again
hurt.
on the Chiefs? Oh my
Richie
God,
James?
not Richie James from the Giants. Um, oh my God, Justin Ross.
Oh, yeah. Just a guy. He's a jack.
Is he playing?
He'll probably play this game.
This could be a Justin Ross game. If I ever get burned by Justin Ross, in this kind of slate after like being on him this offseason, it would ruin me.
Brutal. I don't know who put you on him.
Quincy.
The dogs are in the house
Yeah, he's not
making
happy.
noise. You gotta make noise, though. You gotta make some
He's making
noise.
noise for when he heard Justin's Ross name.
Yeah, triggered, instantly triggered. Yeah, I don't think I drafted a single share of Ross last year. There was just, like, a lot of KC BS that I didn't buy into.
Yeah, it's a take I'm not
It's
happy about, but I definitely had too much of him. Um,
hey, you can't complain when you have your highest owned player being Raheem Mostert. That's you can
yeah,
draft whoever you
it
want
didn't
in the
obviously
last
it didn't
round.
work out though. It didn't work out in the end, but
Oh, sure it did, dude. You crushed BBM4. Like, you heavily profited off BBM4, you know? You absolutely slayed the regular season. That's why it's good to have that regular season payout because good drafters, it sort of
right.
balances out.
Yeah. Yeah. If it wasn't for the
But
regular season prizes, yeah, it would have been hard to swallow. So,
guys, if you haven't already, you're enjoying the stream, slap a like on the live stream, subscribe to the pound. If you're new to the channel, give Nick a sub on the Twitter machine. Link is in the description. Same thing with the Discord. Dude, it's almost big board season. Like, we got 2 months.
yeah.
2
Yeah.
months until the big board. Disgusting. I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I was sad though, but ended up with just meh advance rates on the big board and having like 20+% Trey McBride, like really hit um
So where did you go wrong?
Kyron. Kyron,
Got it.
uh, Adam Thielen killed my advance rates just
Okay.
from that first half of the season, having no Adam Thielen,
Got it. Got it.
and then like
Even though
having
he was
Alec
kind of
Pierce.
like irrelevant later on, you're saying he
Right,
pushed a lot
right.
of teams up.
Yeah, he had a great advance rate. He
Yeah.
finished with really high advance rates. Raheem
Is
Mostert
is
being
he in
off.
play this week, you think?
Oh god, it's kinda gross. It's kinda gross. You're
Because
not clicking Adam Thielen.
the here's so hear me out. Tampa Bay, one of the worst secondaries, right? If we
Mhm,
think Carolina is playing their starters between Thielen, Shark, Mingo, do you
mhm.
not think any of these receivers can get there on them?
Ah, man, they're gonna be playing the full game, it's just kinda gross. What do you wanna do here in 6-7 again?
Um, we went Hurts, AJ Brown, so maybe let's
Yeah,
do something else, like go Evans
let's bring
and
in Evans. What about
oh,
Evans Connor?
I think it's going to be owned a lot with better combos. So I feel like you're going to want to have to do like a quarterback
But
or something like Fields. Maybe I think would be a better pick almost. DJ Moore. Um,
okay, let's go Fields.
I think you're going to get a decent amount of Evans, Connor with like Lamb, with some other stuff, and it just doesn't feel like if you think Lamb
Mhm,
is the true 101, like
yeah.
you're already playing against yourself.
Yeah, so you would have to leverage that with, like, if you know Lamb's gonna be with a lot of
Maybe
those combos,
if
then you go
yeah, you'd have to go
Ferguson
like
or
you'd
you
have to
go
go like
Pollard.
Pollard or something and
Yeah,
make up the points that way.
that's just good to yeah, it's good to note and have in the back of your head for sure. I
Yeah.
That's solid. That's a good point.
But I just think, man, in my head, like, I don't have any Carolina receivers yet, but
Mhm.
we know the trend, right? That Tampa Bay secondary is a pass funnel team. I mean, some receivers end up having their best weeks playing Tampa Bay. Like,
Yeah.
is there a possibility that somebody from Carolina gets there if Hubbard gets shut down and they can't run? Like,
Mingo's
I
out on
wouldn't.
IR.
Okay, so
DJ
I
Chark,
didn't, I
bro.
didn't, I
It's a
didn't even,
Chark week.
I didn't even know Mingo was out on IR now.
It's
So
a
it's
Chark it's a Chark week.
Chark or Thielen. Can they get there?
I think so. I think you could be mixing in Chark here. I think that's pretty cool to do. But
I wouldn't do it a lot, but I think it's
I
in
I would
play.
likely want it I would likely want it on my Baker Mayfield Evans teams as a
Yeah,
bring back. I don't know if
yeah,
I would just, like, one off DJ Chark a lot.
right.
I want it to make sense with the game stack.
Oh, for sure. I think it's actually better with White, to be honest, because you're expecting that means that the Bucks are up. White's getting a lot of touches. They're running the ball, trying to kill the clock,
I'm
and
cool with
then
that.
that would mean Panthers are just trying to just throw all over them when they have the ball.
Yeah, I'm cool with either one of those, to be honest. I was saying Mike Evans just for the game stack, like with Baker, sort of making a bet on this game that's going to be not super low owned, especially from the Tampa Bay side, but the
Yeah.
game stack, bringing in DJ Chark. I haven't seen him drafted yet.
No, I don't even know if he has an ADP, if I'm being honest.
No, he doesn't.
And I doubt Thielen has one either. So
I hope not. But yeah, players like that really hurt me. A lot of injuries, like Chubb, I was super high on. Like he started at pick 27, bro. So
yeah,
like
yeah.
I ended up with a super, super high amount of Chubb, unfortunately.
I ended up having one of my puppy 3 teams that actually had Chubb in the finals, which is crazy.
Carried him. You carried him.
Yep.
What do you say we go Olave and
Maybe just don't overthink
McBride?
it. We just take the 2 top guys here and just go Olave, McBride.
Yeah.
Yep.
We will become an ADP spoon for this draft. For this
Well, we
draft
we
alone.
changed up the first 2 picks, so not so much.
Mhm.
The first 2 we got different.
So naked fields here is what it's looking like.
Um, I mean, unless does Herbert and Fields make sense? I mean, he doesn't really catch a lot of balls.
Not really. I think it's negatively correlated.
Yeah, right.
Um,
I definitely wouldn't touch any of his other receivers outside DJ Moore.
it would have been nice to get Aaron Jones as a bring back, but maybe this is the Jaden Reed team.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe bring in like a Green Bay piece here and at least have a a game stack in a
Yeah.
sense.
This is gross. Like Zeke should still be getting so many touches. It's just so gross to
Yeah, but he's just not efficient, right? He's like not efficient on like any of his
no.
touches. So
Pat's O
and
line's
and and
crap.
the Jets have a pretty decent defense. Like I wouldn't touch Zeke this week. There's definitely more guys that are going to get the same amount of volume, in my opinion, that have better matchups.
Pacheco and Rice. Rasheed Rice did not practice today. Jaden Reed limited in practice. AJ Dillon doesn't practice. Tyler Higbee ruled out.
So I mean, it's definitely trending towards the Rams aren't going to be playing their starters.
Yeah. Oh, Reed pick right in front of us.
All right, so maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe we take Watson and gamble on the Q tag.
I like it. And then running back of your choice, Gibbs, ETN.
Zamir White.
Oh my God. You're going to make me
You're
do
going
it.
to take at least one team with Zamir White for me?
All right. It is. It is. It is. We did it.
Let's go.
All right,
Good
guys.
pick.
Got to
Good
wrap
pick.
it up, unfortunately. Nick, thank you for coming on the live stream, dropping
Thanks for
some
having me.
knowledge on me and the Pounders alike. I hope everyone has a good finish to their Wednesday. This video is going to be posted at 8:15 p.m. We did pre-record it. We appreciate you guys watching. Slap the like on the way out. Pounders.